What's up, guys? So if you've been following Mia Khalifa and what she's been up to, then you would know that she does not give up. And in some cases, that's a good thing. But for her, it's kind of like if Germany never surrendered during World War II. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch this video. Actually, watch this video because it came out after mine with more up-to-date information. And then watch my video. But after I uploaded that video, someone left me a comment saying do a video on Dirty Chem, and just so you know, while I might not like or reply to all the comments you guys leave, I do read them all, but that's not by choice. The YouTube Studio app always shows me the latest comments someone left, regardless if that video was uploaded last year. I don't know if that's a setting on the app I can change, but because of that, I literally have to read every comment that pops up, even if I hate your sexual orientation. That is, unless you talk shit. If you're gonna do that, just leave your insult and move on. Don't leave me a whole essay to peer review because I got some sand in your vagina. Better yet, don't leave a comment at all. I can guarantee you it will have the same effect as if you left one. Trust me, I'm the one your comments are directed towards. But back to this comment. If you ever wanted to know how to leave a perfect suggestion, then boom, have a closer look. Notice how the word count is in the single digits. Notice how he's not even asking me a question, but giving me a command. This man said, make this video or I will slaughter your family, you fucking. And let me tell you, I don't know if it was his intimidation tactic or the shit that was scared at me dripping down my legs. All I know was that something was telling me I needed to make this video. And then go wipe. And long story short, his comment about Dirty Chem led me to Reddit, which led me to get in contact with one of Mia Khalifa's exes. And basically what the subreddit said, or actually it wasn't AMA, but basically what it said was, I am one of Mia Khalifa's first victims. I knew her back in 2012, and I know the actual truth. I'm 27. I first met Mia Khalifa at a restaurant she worked at the club I managed in El Paso. I unknowingly dated her for 1.5 years while she was married. I didn't realize at the time our whole relationship was based on lies, as our intimate moments ended up being shared with her husband and online for her cuckold lifestyle. She lied about who her husband was, and I know the truth about her past and how she got into adult films. She keeps lying to everyone in the media, and then he has his proof with the Imgur link right there. Now, needless to say, after I read that and realized that Sean wanted me to make a video on the one and only Sarah Joe, I'm like, I don't think you know who I am, Sean, because I do not have the credentials needed to be interviewing someone who's been inside a Khalifa more famous than Wiz. But guess what? Just like the Grinch's heart, my little baby balls grew 3 sizes that day, and I messaged him. Now for a little background. You like that? You can use that on any desktop. But now about this. So I wasn't really sure if this guy was going to message me back because, or I was already late to the AMA. It was already like a week since it'd been posted. So I was like, maybe I can get a video out of the questions people already asked and I'll just say, or I tried messaging him. But a few hours later, he comes back and says, hey, what's up? Send me your video, meaning this one. And after he tells me he likes it, he's like, send me your Instagram so we can talk. But during those 25 days, and even still, we built a friendship around our hatred, or not hate, yeah, well, hatred for the lies Mia Khalifa is putting out there without taking in any of the overwhelming evidence against her into account. It's like that interview with Donald Trump and that Australian guy, and where Donald Trump's like, you can't do that, and the guy's just over there stating facts. It's like, what? You can't do what? Like, imagine the president telling you can't do something after you've done it. Authority at its finest.
You can't do that. You have
Why can't I do that?
You have to go by.
But after we talked for a bit about this and that and whatnot, he's like, so when do you want to make the video? And I'm like, 25 days ago. But I'm like, or I'm down whenever you are. And yesterday we had a phone call and I've got some juicy information. So juicy, one might even say she's a squirter. No. Like, I'm be honest, I got enough info to make like two or three videos, including this one. All I do is have to just call up the guy and clarify a few things. But for right now, we'll just call this part 1, no, Dirty Chem, the Dirty Chem Chronicles, part 1, a series, 1 of 3, the trilogy. So for those who don't know, like I didn't, Dirty Chem is Mia Khalifa's ex-husband Wyatt, who's the person she says was grooming her from the age of 16. No, the guy I talked to wasn't Dirty Chem, but he was in a relationship with Mia at the same time. I know. More on that soon. I found out though that after being called out by Mia, Dirty Chem aka Wyatt went into seclusion. But basically from what I was told, Wyatt just doesn't want to come out and say anything because he's just taking everything in the worst way possible. Like, part of me thinks the reason he hasn't come out and said anything against her yet is because Mia has millions of followers and his name is Wyatt. You do the math. But seriously, her fans are brainwashed into believing anything she says, so he's probably thinking and knows that if he tries to say anything against her, he's gonna get swarmed like a fucking plague of locusts. But anyways, after talking some more, I found out that the way Mia and Wyatt met was through a military dating website where Mia was lying about her age. Basically, she was 16, still in high school, and on dating websites for older people. Now already I'm gonna ask you, who's in the wrong here? The underage girl on the dating site for adults, or the adults on the dating site for adults? Also, you might be wondering why she was on a military dating website. Well, Wyatt was in the military. I know you were probably thinking it was the 16-year-old Lebanese girl, but the US wins wars because we don't let people like her join. But let's fast forward a few years, and I'm being told that Wyatt is loving his new wife to the point where he's like, hey, look at my hot wife, you know, like showing off the goods. I mean, who wouldn't? If your wife's hot, I would show her off too. Or not your wife, but my wife. But I guess Mia saw how enthralled he was by her beauty that she took advantage of it. So let's fast forward now a few years, and Wyatt is now on deployment, or getting deployed. Whatever it is you brave soldiers do, he was doing that, and at the same time, Mia was getting a job as a stripper, because when your husband is overseas protecting the good old US of A, regular jobs just don't cut it. And apparently a lot of people don't know that she was a stripper in El Paso at this club way before the Bang Bros thing. And you're probably like, well, how do you even know that? Well, one, have you not been paying attention? And two, the guy I was talking to managed that club. He also said about a month after she started working there, that's when they started dating, while her husband was deployed. And I'm proud to be an American. And that was another question I had for him. I'm like, well, how did she hide that from you? That's pretty hardcore. That's the exact same thing as like when that girl did Girls Do Porn the same day her boyfriend got deployed. But essentially what she would do is that every time her husband would call and, you know, like check up on her and the guy from the club would be with her, she would tell him that that was just her gay best friend, and then vice versa. This then progressed further to the guy from the club actually living with her while her husband was deployed, and while that was happening, he mentioned that every time he would go to the apartment that there would be no pictures. Almost like she had just moved in. Turns out the reason it looked like that when he was over is because when her husband was deployed, she would hide all the pictures so this guy wouldn't question anything like, who the fuck is that, and why are you guys wearing bride and groom costumes? So just to clarify, after Wyatt came back from deployment, that's when the apartment was off limits. Whenever Wyatt went back to training, that's when the guy from the club would come over and all the pictures would be gone, otherwise they would just hook up in the car or find somewhere else to do it. He said though that he'd for show spend nights over with her while Wyatt was training, and he confirmed this timeline with Wyatt. It even got to the point where she was unknowingly sending her homemade sex tapes with this guy to her husband, which is where the cuckold thing comes into play. And all throughout this conversation, it was pretty clear to me that Mia was the sexually aggressive one. Like when she says this in her TikTok to fulfill his twisted fantasies, I'm like, dog, the dude who you cheated with, who he didn't know you were cheating because you told him your husband was a gay guy, is telling me this, and he has no reason to lie. I'm not some crazy news outlet that's gonna get his story everywhere. He just wants his story out there so people can see the kind of person she really is. It's like in The Walking Dead when Dwight betrayed Negan because he was an asshole. Except in this situation, Mia is Negan, her ex-husband is Dwight, and the guy I'm talking to is Daryl. But I also asked him, or more so wanted to clarify how she got into porn and if she was really manipulated, because he said he knew the real story, and I'm like, that's what I want to know. And basically the interview where I played in my first video where she says this,
I understand that you can't really leave your register, so I'm gonna give you this website and you should go to it on your own time. So he wrote down .com and handed it to me on a piece of paper. And I went to the bathroom and I checked it out. And as soon as I saw what it was, I was like, oh, this would be so cool.
Is all 100% true. He went on to tell me that the contract she signed was for one video. Like, if there was one person in this whole situation that needs to speak up, it's her ex-husband Wyatt, because she's making him look really bad, and if he doesn't just come out and say, like, or just at least say, hey, these are false, or whatever you're saying is false, then more and more people are just going to believe her bullshit. I thought I was going to burp, because that's how much of bullshit she just mustered up inside of me. Like, trust me, I didn't know anything about you, Wyatt, before this video, but I was already somewhat 100% on your side because I already did not believe anything she was saying. Like, he literally has the other half of the story none of y'all are asking for, and y'all are just believing Mia without even knowing the whole story. That's like leaving halfway through a movie and not even giving a shit about how it ends. No one thinks like that. I mean, in my opinion, she's just taking advantage of this woman/sex workers movement because she knows that they'll believe her regardless. I mean, she's a woman and was a sex worker, so I think it goes against their terms of service if they don't support her. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's not just getting mad at Bang Bros for the fuck of it. She wants to get all these other people who can't form their own opinions to see the kind of person she's making herself out to be, even though there are tons of videos discrediting almost everything, if not everything she says. And what's funny is that people like Philip DeFranco and whatever this fruit's name is are acting like Bang Bros didn't debunk her shit with info only Bang Bros would know. It's not like some random horny guy was like, I'm gonna get back at you. The company she worked for was like, you know, we know everything that happened, right? You worked for us. She would even tell the guy from the club directly about her involvement and how all the Arabic themed scenes were all her idea. Here's even a little video of some behind the scene improv she's trying to do.
I am extremely fascinated with white and black men here in America, and I've decided to conduct a study.
One more time.
Sorry. I am extremely fascinated with white and black men here in America, and I've decided to conduct a study to show my girlfriends back home. Just like being on the farm back home.
Just like being on the farm back home.
What? What the fuck? Apparently, she was pretty high up on the Bang Bros tier chart list. Not sure how that list looks, but Mia was on there. And if you don't know porn stars, they don't usually do that. That's like if an actor went into the network executives meeting and was like, all right, guys, what do we got going today? And they're like, no, just go act. Get the fuck out of here. And on top of all that, I find it odd that all these famous people or influencers are getting canceled for the smallest of things. I mean, this guy on TikTok got canceled for making a face. But what I want to know, and I was hoping that maybe one of you Mia Khalifa supporters could help me with this, but can you let me know what's going on in this next clip?
Nigga. I'm so white. Nigga. God, I'm so white. Nigga, I'm not Indian. Do I look black? Do I look like I come from the hood? I've never even driven through a hood. What up, my nigga? Wild star!
I would like one of her supporters to explain to me in detail how any of that is okay. Because she seems like the girl who would get mad if I made a joke about Lebanon. I'm not, don't worry. I want to, though. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to mention, she never graduated college. Or even so much as went to one in the first place, I was told.
And suddenly, my first year of college, I start losing all this weight. And by the time I graduated...
Like, the guy I talked to was like, yeah, when she came down to El Paso, she never went to college. And I was with her until she went to Florida. He even showed me that he looked up the UTEP graduation list for the years that she could have graduated, and nothing. She's not there. Ever. But yeah, guys, that's it. I left the link to the AMA in my description so you can go look at all the evidence you want. You'll find pictures of the guy I talked to and Mia, DMs between them, and even pictures of their matching tattoos. It's weird though, because this AMA got removed like after 1,000 upvotes, and before I messaged anyone, I'm like, wouldn't more than 1,000 people want to know about this? But yeah, guys, that's it. Like I said, I might make another video on this, but hopefully this one blows up so everyone that I mentioned, like Wyatt, can get their situation heard and people can see the kind of person Sarah Mia Khalifa Joe really is.